Welcome into Chic and Ball. I'm your host, Els. Thank you for tuning in and watching. On today's show, we have our mock draft 2.0 second round edition. We going from 13 to 25. Let's look at the draft order and set the table. Minnesota Lynx with 2 picks in the second round. Pay attention to what we do there. Aces with 2 picks in the second round after no picks in the first round. Connecticut Sun also didn't have a pick in the first round, but they'll pick at the end of the second round. With that being said, Los Angeles Sparks making the first pick. You are on the clock. And I want to start by saying, I know a lot of people want to add Janiah Barker to their team, but honestly, I don't think she's coming out this year. I think she'll take one more year in college, then she'll come out next year. But if she was to come out, I think she might get picked in the second round, closer to the end of the second round, because she's not even starting at UCLA. I think she's still got a lot of growing that she can do. Secondly, on the international players, let me tell y'all why I usually don't include them in my mock drafts. Last international player that made an impact on the team was Izzy Higginbottom, drafted in 2019. And she didn't even come over her first year, and she didn't break out until her third season. So it took her 4 years before she became an actual player, and Seattle was very generous by keeping her on the roster and allowing her to grow, because that don't usually happen in the WNBA. Before Izzy, there was Emma Mieseman back in 2013. She came over from Belgium and was an immediate contributor, won Finals MVP over Elena Delle Donne in 2019. So that's 2 out of more than 35 international players drafted that actually made an impact. Most of them don't even come over. So I'm just saying, before y'all start clamoring for some international players, you might want to take a look at the players in this country first. That being said, we have the first pick in from the Los Angeles Sparks. And with the 13th pick in the 2025 WNBA Draft, the Los Angeles Sparks select Sonia Citron, Notre Dame. If Sonia Citron is available here for the Los Angeles Sparks, it ain't no way that they gonna pass her up. A lot of people was upset that I didn't have her going in the first round, but you gotta remember she playing alongside 2 great guards, and she's really good, but they make her look even better. I do think out of most players in this draft, Sonia Citron will have one of the longest careers, but I think it might take her a few years before she actually hit the ground running. Coming to LA, that'll put her back with Olivia Miles. She'll be able to play behind or alongside Rickea Jackson. That's going to take a lot of scoring pressure off of her. And this LA team is not good. They just need to get as many good players in the pot they can and keep on stirring. Next pick will be made by the Dallas Wings. This being a deep draft, Dallas got a chance to add a real contributor. But that's the good thing about the WNBA draft, is that a lot of players being selected in the second round could easily be first round picks in other drafts. And I think most people forget that other leagues got more teams than this, and there's usually 15 to 20 players worthy of being first round picks. But because the WNBA has 13 teams, it sounds bad being a second rounder. But really, you're top 25 in the nation, so keep that in mind before you start saying, why isn't this player going higher? Being top 25 is a first rounder in most major leagues. That being said, let's get to the pick. And with the 14th pick in the 2025 WNBA Draft, the Dallas Wings select Saniya Rivers, NC State. Saniya Rivers has some of the highest upside. She's a great rebounder. She can push it in transition. She's athletic out this world. She's not the scorer in college, but I think in the W she'll be a way better scorer. When it ain't no defensive 3 in the key and she can just attack the paint without trees just waiting on her down there, I think she'll break out and be a much better scorer and player in the pros. And this past summer, Kelsey Plum held her annual dog class. That roster included Georgia Amore, KK Arnold, Deasia Fair, Malaysia Fawali, Isaiah James, Raven Johnson, Tania Lasson, Kate Martin, Nika Mule, Saniya Rivers, and Shyanne Sellers. And Saniya Rivers was named Dog of the Class. She outperformed everyone and showed that she had the dog mentality. And for me, that backs up everything I'm saying. She brings it against the best competition, and when that floor open up, that's her game. Next pick will be made by the Minnesota Lynx, and we know Cheryl Reeves don't really play her young players, so Being drafted here is almost like another year of college for rookies. I do appreciate that she allowed them to grow before they sink or swim, but Coach Reeves, we want to see the rookies. Now, let's get to the pick. And with the 15th pick in the 2025 WNBA Draft, the Minnesota Lynx select Dominique Malonga, France. Now, let me just say this. Y'all don't really be watching no international games. I've been watching these games and I'm sorry, I'm just not seeing this amazing talent. Sure, she's tall, she can block a shot, but she don't really got a good feel for the game. She don't got no go-to move on offense. She's not a shooter or a rebounder. To be fair, she's only 19, so she has a chance to get better, but right now, I think she needs to stay in France and get a little better before she even think about the WNBA. At her age, players like Camila Cardoso, Brittany Griner, Liz Kitley, Aaliyah Boston, I could go on and on and on. They were already dominating at the levels they were at and had a way better feel for the game. I'm not seeing any of those qualities here, but I hope she proves me wrong because the heightened potential is there. Next pick will be made by the Las Vegas Aces. Looking at this team, they'll probably lose Tip Hayes. They lost Kate Martin. Hopefully Liz Kitley comes back good and healthy. But to be successful, I think the Aces need to copy the New York Liberty model. Get a real legit big to put next to A'ja Wilson like they put JJ next to Breanna Stewart. That way it's not all on A'ja on defense, because they're not going to get that from Liz Kitley. It's not Mae Gustafson as good as she is. Kia Stokes just don't add enough on offense and she'll be going into year 10 next season. So this team needs to get younger and it starts here. Let's get to the pick. And with the 16th pick in the 2025 WNBA Draft, the Aces select Ayoka Lee, Kansas State. I think Ayoka Lee would fit great with the Aces and playing next to A'ja Wilson. She's 6'6", she'll move A'ja down to the 4. She led the Big 12 in field goal percentage the last 4 years. She can score and dominate the post on both ends of the floor. And the Aces usually draft players that were really good in college. Yoki has spent a lot of time in college. I think she's one of the most ready now players in the draft. She'll be someone that'll be able to produce and hit the ground running from day one. And A'ja is so good that anyone playing with her is automatically better. Yoki gonna see a lot of single coverage and she gonna get that hook off. Next pick will be made by the Golden State Valkyries. I think they should be looking for two-way players. This team got 7 international players and we know they're not known for defense. This team gonna struggle with scoring and ball handling. One of the players they took in the expansion draft, Maria Conde, she got drafted back in 2019 and she still ain't came over yet. She 27 years old now, so she probably ain't gonna come over. Carla Lady hasn't come over yet, one of the guards they took. Ileana Rupert didn't play in 2024, so these rookies got a really good chance of making this team. Now, let's get to the pick. And with the 17th pick in the 2025 WNBA Draft, the Golden State Valkyries select JJ Quinerly, West Virginia. I think JJ is one of the most underrated players in this draft. She gonna make all the players on this team better. Cause she's a two-way player, she's never averaged less than 2 steals, she won Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year as a 5'8" guard. Not only that, she could score the ball, high usage player, she's used to having the ball in her hand, she led the Big 12 in field goal attempts, you love to see that Mamba mentality, and she only shoot 3.5 threes per game. She'll take them if you give them to her, but she out there attacking the rim more than likely. Picking next will be the Atlanta Dream. They didn't have a pick in the first round, and I gotta say, this is one of the deepest drafts in a long time. Even these second rounders are really good players. Now, for Atlanta, what they need is a guard. They got Haley Jones out there playing point guard, and that's just not gonna work. They messed up her development for a whole year. and they need to look to boost this backcourt so she can move back to her rightful position. That being said, let's get to the pick. And with the 18th pick in the 2025 WNBA Draft, the Atlanta Dream select Shyanne Sellers, Maryland. Shyanne Sellers is ready for the pros. If you didn't know, her dad, Brad Sellers, played 6 years in the NBA and more than 6 seasons in pro teams and other leagues around the world. So she's had access to some of the best training for a long time, and I think she's prepared for what the WNBA will bring. She's another unicorn, being a 6'2" legit point guard, and I think this is what they wanted from Haley Jones, but she ain't never played primary ball handler. Shyanne Sellers has been a point guard at Maryland all 4 years and in high school. And this Atlanta team didn't carry no rookies last year, but I think they need to change that trend and get younger. Before we get to our next pick, our shorts feed will now feature full game highlights, so check out your favorite players. Videos are always 30 seconds or less, including offense and defense. Comment your favorite players if there's someone you'd like to see. Picking next in the draft will be the Phoenix Mercury, and one thing we know about Phoenix, they love scores. There's a player who jumped off the screen for me while I was scouting for another player, and this player is a diamond in the rough, but I think she'll be someone that'll shock a lot of people. That being said, let's get to the pick. And with the 19th pick in the 2025 WNBA Draft, the Phoenix Mercury select Zaay Green, Alabama. Now again, I was watching this team looking at Sarah Ashley Barker and Aaliyah Nye, but Zaay Green just kept jumping off the screen and she looked like the best player on the team. She's definitely the best scorer. She leads the team in scoring and assists actually. She's also third in rebounding. She led the SWAC conference in assists last year and she's dominating the SEC now. And this is also her 6th year of college ball. She's battled some injuries, but I think she's fully healthy. And her ceiling is an all-star level player. Another unicorn, 6'2" legit playmaking guard. And I like her more than a lot of players in this draft. But because we haven't seen much of her, I think teams will sleep on her. Pick number 20 will be made by the Indiana Fever. And honestly, as a GM, if you got Caitlin Clark on your team, you can't mess this up. She got to be the easiest player to build around in WNBA history. She almost like LeBron, where you can just suit up 5 players and she's still gonna get it going. But if you put the right players around her, it ain't no reason that she shouldn't run off a few championships. That being said, let's get to the pick. And with the 20th pick in the 2025 WNBA Draft, the Indiana Fever select Aaliyah Nye, Alabama. Aaliyah Nye is probably the best pure shooter in college basketball. I would say it's neck and neck between her and Tahina Powell. And that's what this Fever team need. Last year, Lexi Hall basically led the league in three-point percentage at 47%. Kelsey Mitchell shot 40% from 3, and Caitlin Clark shot 34% from 3, which we know that's going to get better. Aaliyah Nye is a career 41% shooter, and that's on 6.5 threes per game. If you the Indiana Fever, you cannot pass up on the sharpshooter. I know she going to be there for them to draft, they just got to take her. Next pick will be made by the Seattle Storm. I think this team is lacking in the front court. They got Izzy Higginbottom, but that's pretty much all they have. Not sure what will happen with Nneka. Sadie Russell is tall, but she don't really contribute much on the offensive end. So let's see what they do here in the second round. And with the 21st pick in the 2025 WNBA Draft, the Seattle Storm select Sedona Prince, Texas Christian University. Sedona Prince has been in college since 2019, so she's seasoned like some Popeye's chicken. She a really good shot blocker, good touch around the basket. A lot of teams are going big in the front court, and you need someone to be able to compete with Jonquel Jones, Asia, Stewie, Fee, Camila Cardoso, and the list goes on. And I think Sedona can move well enough to keep up with those players. I don't think she's a starter, but she'll be able to give some quality minutes. Next pick will be made by the Las Vegas Aces. Like I said earlier, they always pick experienced players that are great college players, so this one will be interesting. Now let's get to the pick. And with the 22nd pick in the 2025 WNBA Draft, the Las Vegas Aces select Harmoni Turner, Harvard University. Now, I really like this pick for the Las Vegas Aces because outside of Kelsey Plum and Chelsea Gray, they don't really have no ball handlers in the backcourt. Harmoni Turner plays that smart brand of basketball that Becky Hammon likes to play. And I know players from the Ivies don't usually get drafted, but I think Harmoni's combination of scoring, IQ, and passing is something that Becky Hammon can work with. And not only is she a great scorer leading the Ivies in scoring, she's also leading the Ivies in steals. So being a 5'11" guard gives her a little advantage on the defensive end. Pick number 23 will be made by the Washington Mystics. This is their third pick so far. We had them take Kiki Iriafen and Tahina Pau in the first round. That being said, let's get to the pick. And with the 23rd pick in the 2025 WNBA Draft, the Washington Mystics select Gianna Kneepkens, Utah. Another sharpshooter. She's a career 42% three-point shooter, great ball handler, and can get to the rim. And I think to start her career, she can almost be like a Lexi Hall or JC Sheldon, with the potential to be like a Marina Mabrey. And don't forget, she played 2 years with Elisa Pili, and seeing her go pro had to motivate her to want to be here. In her senior year with the Utah Utes, she's basically been 50-40-90 the whole year. So not only is she one of the top scoring guards, she's also the most efficient. Next will be the Minnesota Lynx picking at number 24. With the season they had last year, I don't really think they're looking to add no rookies to this roster. I think they'll trade this pick if they can, but it's so deep in the second round, nobody gonna take this pick without a player attached to it. So since we have to, let's get to the pick. And with the 24th pick in the 2025 WNBA Draft, the Minnesota Lynx select Ajsa Sivka, Slovenia. Ajsa Sivka, I think she is a really good player. She has nice range and she can really stretch the floor unlike most bigs. Now where I do see some flaws is in her defense and rebounding. She has a really good feel on offense, but on defense, she'll probably get destroyed in the WNBA right now. She's also only 19, but I think if she does decide to come over, if she can shoot it like she shoots in France, she'll be just fine. But as you can see, both international players going to Minnesota because I don't think they're coming over this year. And the Minnesota Lynx, they ain't wasting no roster spots on no rookies. They gonna flip that into a veteran. The last pick of the second round will be made by the Connecticut Sun. This team lost Veronica Burton to the expansion draft, so I think they'll be looking to get another ball handler. And let me also say this, you can't keep doing the same thing with Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner. It's been 5 years and they only got the one WNBA final in 2022 and lost to the Aces. It's time to change it up, it's time to get somebody else to make plays, and I think I know where they can start. That being said, let's get to the pick. And with the 25th pick in the 2025 WNBA Draft, the Connecticut Sun select Izzy Higginbottom, Arkansas. This is one of the toughest players in college basketball. She'll get knocked down and just keep on coming at you. She only 5'7", but her height don't matter to me because what she got inside her, that's what mattered the most. She not out there smiling and playing around. She out there to give buckets and get dubs. She can shoot. She dropping 23 a game in the SEC. She has some big games this year. She done dropped 27 on LSU, 23 on Texas, and I think she at least deserves a chance to prove herself in the WNBA. But there you have it. Here's a final look at our second round picks. I think I got enough players for a third round, so if y'all want to see more players, drop a 3R in the comments along with your feedback and we'll get to it. If you made it this far in the show, please hit that like button. I don't care if you don't share it, I don't care if you don't comment, but I really would appreciate it if you hit that like button. It does go a very long way. Also, a quick reminder, please go to our Point Out Radio and Media page and click on our shorts feed. Check out some of those full game highlights for some of your favorite players and comment your favorite players if it's somebody else you prefer to see. But that's all I'll say for now. Thank you everybody for listening and watching. I'm Els for PR&M. Talk to you on the next one.